Thank you for tuning in to Hard News TV. I'm your host, Terry Lynn, and this is the channel where truth is like poetry, and sometimes people just can't handle it. Today is November 23rd, 2016, and the last video that I just did was on women in women in Europe afraid of Muslims and feeling terrified in their own countries. And I just started talking about how the liberal media here is wanting to vilify anybody who speaks out against Muslims being relocated to America. And Obama is wanting to increase the number of immigrants that are coming. And I wanted to show y'all this. Don't think that it's not going to come to America. I did some videos a couple of weeks ago on what the streets of Europe look like now, with tents all up and down Paris and garbage and people using the bathroom on the streets. And so now I want to show y'all what's going on in America. So don't think that terrorism and people making Americans feel uncomfortable in their own country isn't here. Watch this.
You know, we've been telling you all about France's no-go zones, hundreds of Muslim-controlled areas around Paris that outsiders and cops don't dare to explore. They chose just to give it up. We have them here in the United States, too. I bet you did not know that. Nearly 24 enclaves popping up across 9 different states. And watch what happens when a stranger or an outsider tries to step inside.
But your land is open to the public. I'm not being nice about it, and I don't appreciate you. The way y'all came up. Okay? Leave. Period. Leave. Period. Don't say another word.
Joining us right now, the man behind that camera, founder and president of the Christian Action Network and author of Twilight in America, the untold story of Islamic training camps in America. Martin Moyer joins us right now. Martin, what was taking place right there? Where were you?
Well, we were in Red House, Virginia. It's an isolated community, as most of these compounds are located in rural areas, heavily wooded, inside of the mountainous areas. And what we wanted to do was challenge their open invitation to actually come onto these compounds and see whether they were peaceful or not. So we brought our cameras, we tried to get on, and this is how we got treated.
And quickly, this is the whole thing that we're seeing here. What goes on in these campuses? A lot of people say, hey, there are Jewish camps in this country, Christian camps in this country. Why can't we have a Muslim camp?
Because these are truly no-go zones. Unlike the ones in Europe, which I have visited, you can actually walk into those no-go zones. You can walk in with your cameras, you can talk to people, but in these particular no-go zones, you cannot get into. They have gates, they have armed guards, they have security forces, and when you go up into them, you're specifically told to leave these particular areas, and they're particularly dangerous.
And we're watching right now. Where are we seeing this footage from?
This is a video they put out for the people inside of the compounds so that they learn how to do terrorist-type training. They teach them how to kidnap people, how to strangle them, how to kill guards, how to do guerrilla-type warfare training. And this is what goes on in these isolated no-go zones inside the United States.
In America, name some states, name some areas, because you also say they're affiliated with a Pakistani militant group.
Yeah, that Pakistani militant group is called Jamaat al-Furqa, run by Sheikh Jelani, who most people haven't heard of, but that is the guy that Daniel Pearl, Wall Street Journal, was hoping to interview and was arranging to interview when he was kidnapped and then later beheaded.
So name some towns, name some cities, name some states. Where are
Well, we have him in Texas, Sweeney, Texas. We have him in York, South Carolina. We have him in Commerce, Georgia. We have him in Red House, Virginia. We have him in upstate New York. We have him in California. We have him in Michigan. They're scattered all around the United States.
So right now, when you call an officer and say, hey, wait a second, you got an enclave here, this is Islamic extremists being trained on our ground, what is the law enforcement's reaction?
Well, the interesting thing about these camps, they're located in very rural areas of America, which has very small police departments, and they intentionally set them up in these areas where, for instance, the one in New York, they have a total of 4 police officers.
I want you to hear what you say is a recruitment, the sound of a recruitment video to fill up these camps. Listen.
The Muslims who joined one of them advanced training course in Islamic military, or in Michigan, or in South Carolina, or in Pakistan, wherever we are, you can reach us.
Where'd you get that?
Well, actually, it took about 4 years to actually locate that video. We knew it existed, and we had someone inside of a law enforcement department out of Colorado who snuck us the tape, and finally we were able to make it public.
FBI's reaction?
FBI's reaction is that, look, you know, they have the First Amendment and other American rights to operate these enclaves in the United States, regardless of the type of weapon training, guerrilla warfare training that's going on inside of them.
It's not okay with me, and it certainly doesn't seem to be okay with you. Martin Moyer, thanks so much, President and CEO of the Christian Action Network.
Thank you for letting me be here.
And we'll keep looking at this. More.
Okay, so I wanted to bring that to y'all, that our own country is inviting Muslims here, establishing them in the United States in no-go zones that we cannot even get into to see what they're doing, but we've got undercover video that it is an Al-Qaeda training camp on how to behead people and kidnap people. But if we talk about it, we are Islamophobes and xenophobes, and we're bigots for wanting to protect our own country. Y'all please stay tuned. There's more to come. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.